In October 14, 2017, Ashland, Oregon. 9:47 p.m., the rain was steady that night. Not hard, just the kind that blurred headlights and made the world look dreamlike. Inside the highway diner, Elena Porter wiped down her last table and checked her phone. 29 years old, warm smile, quiet manner. She was the kind of person most people barely noticed, but those who knew her remembered her laugh long after she left her room. She texted her roommate, "Leaving now. Be home in 20." That message, sent at 9:47 p.m., would become the last confirmed trace of her existence. The drive from Ashland to Medford was familiar to her, a 40-minute stretch through twisting roads and pine woods. But by 10:08 p.m., Elena's silver Honda Civic appeared on a traffic camera merging onto exit 24, and then vanished from every other lens, radar, and cell phone tower. Her phone went silent. Her GPS stopped transmitting. It was as if the night had swallowed her whole. When Elena didn't come home, her roommate assumed she'd stayed with a friend. By morning, she was worried. By nightfall, she called the police. Detective Harold Finch of the Medford Police Department was assigned to the case, a quiet veteran with 30 years of service and eyes that never missed a thing. "She's an adult," one officer shrugged. "Maybe she just needed space." Finch wasn't so sure. "I've seen women disappear before," he said later in an interview. "But this one felt different. This one felt planned." At the diner, her co-worker Jeremy Lowe said Elena had been anxious that night, stepping outside to take calls, glancing over her shoulder, and asking twice if anyone had seen a dark sedan in the lot. "Did she say who she was talking to?" Finch asked. Jeremy hesitated. "She said it was someone from her past." That phrase, "someone from her past," would become the spine of the investigation. When detectives reviewed the diner's parking lot footage, they spotted something chilling. A dark sedan idled 2 spaces behind Elena's Civic from 9:30 to 10:11 p.m. The headlights never turned off. The driver never stepped out. At 10:11, Elena appeared in frame, umbrella in hand, crossing the slick asphalt. As she reached her car, the sedan's headlights flickered once. She looked up, startled. Then she smiled faintly, like she recognized whoever was inside. She opened her car door. And then the footage cut to static. When they restored the video, one more detail emerged, a faint reflection in a puddle near Elena's feet. 2 shadows. Hers, and someone standing inches behind her. But there was no one else visible. 3 days later, hikers found Elena's Honda Civic deep in Rogue River Canyon, nearly 50 miles from her route home. The car was neatly parked at the edge of an overlook, engine off, doors locked, keys still in the ignition. Her phone was on the dashboard, the last text still visible. "Leaving now. Be home in 20." There were no fingerprints except hers. No sign of a struggle. In the trunk, however, officers found an old cassette tape, labeled in black ink, EP. When they played it, they heard only static, until the final 14 seconds. A low male voice whispered, calm and deliberate, "You shouldn't have come back." The voice was never identified. Detectives learned Elena had once attended Oregon State University. During her junior year, she had filed, and later withdrawn, a restraining order against a teaching assistant named Michael Raines. He'd vanished after being questioned in 2011 for stalking another student. Finch's team tracked down an address in Sacramento, but the man had moved 2 years prior. When they searched his last known residence, they found a wall of newspaper clippings, every one related to unsolved disappearances of women in Oregon. And at the center of the wall, a photo of Elena, taken outside the very diner she'd worked at. How long had he been watching her? 6 months later, In April 2018, a mall security guard at Rogue Valley Mall reported something strange. Around 2:17 a.m., he saw a woman sitting motionless on a bench, humming softly. When he approached, she whispered, "It's almost time again." He turned to radio his partner, and when he looked back, she was gone. The surveillance camera footage was corrupted, except for one still frame. Her face was pale, her expression empty, and though blurry, it was unmistakably Elena Porter. Experts analyzed the footage. Some claimed it was manipulated, others swore the timestamp proved authenticity. But if Elena was alive, where had she been? And why had she returned only to vanish again? Podcasts, forums, and journalists swarmed the story. One theory suggested human trafficking, that Elena had been abducted and later escaped, only to be silenced again. Another speculated government involvement, her disappearance aligning with an arms smuggling case in the same area. Some online sleuths even proposed a supernatural angle, tying her case to an earlier disappearance in 1999, when a teenage girl named Clara Jennings vanished near the same canyon, her car found in nearly identical condition. Detective Finch, however, believed in something far simpler and darker. She knew her abductor, he said in a 2021 interview. She trusted him enough to lower her guard. In 2020, a sealed envelope arrived at the Medford Police Department. No return address. Inside was a Polaroid, a woman's hand resting on a diner table, her nails painted the same light blue shade Elena always wore. On the back, in block letters, it read, "It wasn't supposed to happen this way." DNA from the photo matched Elena's. But the Polaroid was dated December 2019, more than 2 years after her disappearance. What really happened that night between 9:47 and 10:11 p.m.? Who was the man in the sedan, the one she seemed to recognize? And what did she mean by, "It's almost time again"? Every investigator who's worked the case agrees on one thing. Something occurred in those final 24 minutes that changed everything, something no one has been able to reconstruct. Some locals claim they've seen her near the canyon at night, walking alone, still wearing her diner uniform. Others say they hear her humming when fog settles over the bridge, the same melody caught faintly on that tape. October 14, 2022. Exactly 5 years after her disappearance, a candlelight vigil was held at the diner. Her mother stood quietly among strangers and reporters. When asked if she still believed her daughter was alive, she whispered, "Not alive, maybe, but not gone either." That night, just after the crowd left, a waitress cleaning tables found a napkin folded neatly under a cup. Written in shaky handwriting were 6 words. "I made it home this time." The ink was still wet. Was Elena running from someone or toward something? Did she know her disappearance would become a national mystery? Or did she try, and fail, to return from something far worse than death itself? No new leads have surfaced since 2020. The FBI file remains open. Her story has become part of America's vast archive of unsolved vanishings, stories that slip through time and refuse to stay buried. Because in every missing persons case, there's that one chilling truth. Sometimes, people don't just disappear. Sometimes, the world forgets to look in the right place. Vanishing Hour reminds us that one ordinary night can unravel into something no one can explain. And somewhere out there, maybe, someone still knows what happened when her ordinary night turned into a national mystery.